You can't be friends after you kick somebody's butt in the 2001 state finals. Now, you guys are seeing we have our first Zoom winner and state runner-up present on the video. So we're going to start with the state champion for this video. Sir, if you would, tell us who you are.
Hi, Eric Slugantz from Woodford County.
And tell us the year and what weight you won here.
2001, I dominated Ben Vessels in the state finals.
Now, Ben, tell us who you are, what school you went to, and all that.
Ben Vessels was the 171-pound state runner-up in 2001 by 2 stalling points. So, yeah.
Ooh, this one is going to be. I love doing these. Your guys are the second video that we've had where both the winner and the runner-up have been present. The first one was 2014 with another Woodford County Henry Clay. But you guys, we'll talk later in the video. You guys have remained friends. We'll get into that a little bit, like I said, later. And you guys are already on the channel. Eric, your 2002 171-pound state championship videos on the channel. Ben, your 2002 189-pound state championship videos on the channel. And go back after this, those watching, and watch Eric and Ben's both. But watch this one. This is going to be, I just have a feeling these two have wanted to do this for a long time, and they have good chemistry. So I can't wait to hear the banner back. I'm almost going to sit back and let these two guys kind of just go at each other. So 2001 was our last year at the dungeon, the last year that we had, or last year at the dungeon. It was the last year that we had the districts, region, state format. I'm thinking 2011, but 2001 was the last year we had the districts, regions, and state format before we went to the 32-man bracket. And the 171-pound weight class, man, they some bruisers. They some studs in that weight class. Now it's the 175, still studs. So when the season's going along, do you guys run into each other? Do you kind of feel each other out? Think, okay, this is my weight class. I know I can win it. Being in Louisville, a lot of tough competition there. Do you kind of feel you got the finger, on the pulse of, okay, I'm the 171-pound state champion. Nobody's touching me.
Well, I mean, so junior year, I didn't have a great sophomore campaign. I didn't place at state. I qualified for the first time. Coming into junior year, it was just kind of like, all right, take that next step. The goal at the end of the year is to be on that podium. So I just kind of worked hard, and then getting into the season, you kind of, look at the rankings, see where everybody's kind of fallen into. And then realistically, the first I would say, kind of laying out of who's who is the Woodford County Invitational. And so that's where Eric and I first met. I don't remember. It wasn't in the finals. It was in like the first or second round that we wrestled, because you had moved down from 189 to 171 from sophomore to junior year. So I didn't have any idea who Eric was. And I don't know if he had any idea who I was, because we were both of us were, I think I was ranked for a little bit at 160, but I didn't place or anything like that. But that was really the first time I met him, and it was, during that match, I was like, all right, this is probably somebody I'm going to see down the road. So I mean,
now Eric, I'm sorry, Ben. I let you.
Oh, you're fine.
I'm sorry. I was going to say, now Eric, he brought up the Woodford County Invitational. We know that's a long running tournament. The stories go back for, who knows how many years of, like Ben brought up, running into somebody in the finals and like, whoa, I need to either bump up or I need to cut because I know I don't have a shot at this guy. So do you see the rankings? Do you know the name Ben Vessels? Do you think maybe this is like a basketball stat sheet or something when you see the rankings with his name on it? I mean,
yeah, I don't remember the
kidding,
where we're ranked at that point. I know they did the rankings back in then, but I can't remember who was ranked where, who started the year out. But I definitely did not know who he was that first match. But obviously a very close match, and kind of Ben said, I said, okay, this is the guy I'm about to beat again.
So okay, so now back on, trying to be a little bit serious. When you guys wrestle each other, did you both mentally kind of think, oh my gosh, I can see this guy again in the state tournament, or this is probably who I'm going to meet in the finals, or how did it go? Did you guys talk afterwards and kind of fill each other out, or?
Well, I don't think I said I wanted to wrestle him again in the state finals. I kind of would have preferred somebody else.
Like, oh my gosh, this is my opponent,
It was. I don't remember actually when we started talking, but I mean, Ben kind of came in with like the Woodford County guys, and I mean, he was getting picked on by Matt Good, Tyler Baldwin. A lot of the guys were kind of giving him a hard time, so he came kind of part of the Woodford County family pretty quick.
It was actually the first time we really talked was funny enough at state weigh-ins, because you got that I don't remember the guy's name, but some guy I guess got tired of talking, and he took a swing at you at regionals or something, and we just happened to be weighing in behind one another, and I was like, man, I didn't know you had a boxing match scheduled during regionals, and we just kind of started chatting from that point at state. But yeah, it was that's kind of where we first got chit-chatting back and forth. But
yeah, I think it was the regional finals. I had taken the guy down, and I was kind of holding his head just to kind of make him work a little bit to get up. And he came up, and
who was it? Now, you got to tell us the name here. I don't know who don't know this story.
It was Roscoe
Woodby.
Well, that's what it was, Roscoe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I had never heard that story before. None of the Woodford County crowds ever told me that, so I'm glad you mentioned that.
And he was a good wrestler. I mean, it was the finals. It was a closer match, and I mean, I felt bad for him. Kind of lost his cool and got DQ'd. Didn't go to the state tournament because of that. But yeah, turned into a UFC fight.
That's a good story. So you guys wrestle at the Woodford County Invitational. That's usually on that Christmas break. Do you guys remember the score of that match by chance? Anybody?
I think Eric won by, I'm going to say 2 or 3 points. It's funny. We wrestle very similar style. Like we're both very, I'm going to just say defensively. Like, it was, both of us were incredibly hard to take down, but we look for our openings to shoot, and Eric had incredible defense, and but I remember the first match was a little bit closer, and that second match at state duels is where he kind of ragdolled me a little bit.
And I was going to say, let's go to the state duels. Or Eric, do you have anything to add to that before we move on?
No, I mean, Ben, as Ben said, he made you uncomfortable when you're in on his legs at times. So it was one of those, if you're going to shoot, you want to quick takedown and get down, because his defense hand fight was very good. So it was if I was going to shoot, I wanted to kind of quick score, get out of there, which made it, maybe wrestle a little bit too defensive at times when we did wrestle each other.
I can understand that.
I think that year is, I won't say the person's name just but it's funny, and he's so true. I think that year I broke the Woodford County takedown record, and then broke it again my senior year. But the person's record I broke kind of went up to Coach Parks afterwards and said, wow, broke my record, but can you get a takedown in the state finals? And
I like that. I like that. I have to, when I see Coach Park at the state tournament, I'll bring that up to him. So we, as of this filming, this is February 3rd, 2025, and you brought up state duels. Now, for those watching state duels now, we have 3 classes. We have 1, 2, and 3A, and we have the girls. So in essence, we're running 4 different state duels. But back in the day, it was, I think, 12 teams? Does that sound right? 12, 16 teams? And
I think I don't remember.
It was held at Henry Clay. I do know that.
Yeah,
and
I remember that.
It was pretty much the who's who. The Woodford County kind of got people like, okay, I need to cut, I need to whatever. And then the state duels, you're like, all right, that he's placing, that's going to be your finals. This person better have a good tournament or they're going to get whatever. So when you guys, like, do you get to see the brackets of like the pools or the matchups beforehand and thinking, oh my gosh, I got to wrestle Ben. Oh my gosh, I got to wrestle Eric again. Or how did it go?
I don't remember.
It was one of those, like, I don't know about you, Eric, but it was one of those, like, you're after weigh-ins, you're just kind of chilling out, and it's like coach would be like, "Hey, we have Ryle in the first go around," and then, yeah, we might see that we have Woodford later on, but you're just like, all right, that's what you show up there to wrestle. It wasn't any like planning or not a whole lot of thought put into it.
Okay, no,
And it's
that's
at the same
cool.
time, I guess, Alex, you never know, especially in a duel. Am I going to bump up? Am I going to go? I mean, there was times I bumped up 2 weight classes in a duel. So it's, you don't really know who you're going to have to wrestle.
Cause see, you read my thoughts on bumping up about that, about when you saw it. Did you like think Coach Parks and Carr was going to bump you so that way you could kind of not have that seating criteria, or not let them see your hand or whatever on that? Because a lot, that's a lot going into the strategy on the duel. Hey, we need these 6 points, or we don't want our varsity 171 to see maybe the number 2, number 3 kid in the state. Let's kind of hide them or whatever till we get to Frankfurt. So that's kind of cool of you guys just we wrestled who we wrestled. You know what I mean? It's no big deal.
I think our senior year, so the following year, Ben went up to 189 pounds and also at 171. And Ben was a duel. It was some sort of duel. I don't remember where it was at, but I was trying to talk Coach Parks and let me bump up to wrestling again. But I just tore my meniscus and was my first couple matches back. He's like, dude, you're not going out there and wrestling that kid right now.
It was
So
that was the dual meet at Woodford County. Yeah, I
is that
remember
what it
that.
was? Okay.
We
Yeah.
we were actually rolling around, and like before the session started, and Coach Parks and Coach Carr both came up and was like, "All right, y'all, you two quit, stop."
That's cool, man. That's a good good memories. And then looking back on it, doing this is my 19th season officiating, being able to look back at the middle school state tournaments, the youth state tournaments that I have got to officiate now, of course, the high school state as well, and seeing the youngsters at 4, 5, 6 years old out, everybody's got a football, just about, they're going to pass it. They're playing their own football game at wrestling meets, and you see them all these years later, and they may be in the finals against different people, but people from across the state are warming up together just because they've made friends at youth tournaments and whatever. And it's cool how that friendship, that bond kind of sticks, all the way through, even 20 some years after school, we're still here, both you guys doing the video. So that just shows how it can bond us. Now, you guys are a year I guess older than me in school. You guys graduated in 02. I graduated in 03. And I remember the KHSAA old style website, but I don't remember much about like the brackets coming out early or any. Do you guys have any recollection of getting to see the online brackets, or how did it go? Whoever's got the memory, go ahead and speak.
Yeah, I definitely remember. So it came out a couple days before the state tournament, and I mean that was the first thing I was looking at. All right, who do I got to beat to get to the finals? Who am I going to get in the finals? And Ben and I were on opposite sides of the bracket, and I said, okay, I guess I'll have Ben in the finals. It was
No, that's a cool memory, because we found some of the people's been sending me the old programs like 97, 98, 99, 2000, couple of the, our era, a little bit earlier than us. And, all over it, it's, we're now on the World Wide Web, back when it was called the World Wide Web and all this. So I just wanted to kind of get that on to see if you guys, remembered it now. We can go on track, and track wrestling, everything is right there. But kids, it always wasn't that easy, was it, guys?
no. I'm remembering back now. It just kind of hit my memory that I think there was a Campbell County's assistant coach or somebody back then was actually the person who did all the rankings for the high school kids back then. I remember seeing him. I don't know if it was like he blasted out the coaches or how that got out there, but I remember he was kind of the ranking guy, if you will.
I believe I could see that.
The one thing I didn't like, of course, we all looked at our brackets the week of state, but I mean, I also felt like they should have seeded the state tournament, because I remember like our senior year. I remember, you had Good and Knable in like the quarterfinals, and like I felt like they were the two best 145s that year. I mean, I'm happy that we didn't meet till the finals, but I mean, like, I mean, I'm not trying to brag or anything, but we were probably the two best 171s that year. You could argue, I I can't remember his name from LaRue was decent. That
TJ Elmore.
That's right, Elmore, and then Hunt from was it
Ryle.
Ryle? So I mean, those guys were good, but I still feel pretty confident that we were going to meet in the finals.
And talking about that, I have the bracket here, so we'll go back and forth here. We'll talk first round match, then we'll go to quarters. That way, both you guys can kind of give a insight on your matches here. Ben, you start off the state tournament with a default over Jimmy Noggle of Fort Knox. Do you remember much about why it was a default, or did he not show up? Or
oh no, it was man, it was one of those wrestling matches that man, I didn't feel good afterwards. I'd caught him with a slide by, and so I had him here, and I go to pick him up and come back down. And I guess he had posted his arm out and his elbow came in this way.
oh,
And like on the video, you can see his arm is like a spaghetti. And oof, yeah, I mean, the ref came over me because I mean, I did, you can even watch it on video. I brought him back down controlled and everything. But, you know, of course, like going through my mind, like, I mean, because I thought I broke his neck, honestly, because I felt his head go across my arm because he just immediately started screaming. And yeah, so, but the ref came over, was like, no, it was controlled. Everything's fine. But I mean, also, like, I hate it for that kid. I don't think he ever wrestled again after that either.
Yeah, man. And I mean, I hate to say it, but man, sometimes that's the sport, you know. I mean, we don't never do it on purpose, but sometimes that injuries just happen. And Eric, man, you win a 18-2 tech fall over Nathan Hedden from Louisville Eastern. So, you remember much about that tech fall? Was it just getting a sweat on, or?
Yeah, I think I used to try to take people down, let them up, take people down, let them up, and kind of Coach Parks, just as Ben just said, as I was going on the mat, he's like, "Don't get DQ'd." So it was a couple takedowns and just turned.
No, I get it. I get it. The quarterfinals, Ben, you're wrestling Scott. I believe it's pronounced. Is it MG? MG. Okay, I'm sorry. Scott MG from South Oldham. You win that by 13-11 decision, so a pretty high scoring affair there. You remember how that one played out? Was it as close as the score suggests, or?
Oh yeah, no, it was a close match. We'd wrestled a couple times, and I think I'd majored him, and then I'd pinned him at Woodford, and then I had stupid enough, I had separated my shoulder about a month before state, and in the first period, he kind of got me in a lock, and I, you know, took my mind off wrestling and to concentrate on the pain of my shoulder, and he got me and tossed me to my back, and so he got 5 points. I think the first period was 5-1.
Hey Ben, how many lights were in the ceiling? Just curious.
About 8.
A lot. No,
Why they reflecting off my forehead?
No, when you're on their back in the state finals.
Oh,
On the second round.
Yeah, no, I never went on my back in the state finals. Now we all have, not everybody's perfect. We all have our momentary lapses of judgment here.
yeah.
Of course, I only wrestled 4 years. I didn't come out the womb with the wrestling shoes on.
That's funny.
And Scott MG goes on to get 6th place that year. So pretty good wrestler, man. Pretty good wrestler there from South Oldham. And just a couple years before South Oldham would go on to win the team state championship in 03. So I'm sure, you know, he had a pretty good influence on that room. Eric, in the quarterfinals, you're wrestling Michael Jenkins from Caldwell County, and you win that an 11-2 major decision. Man, Caldwell County, you know, they're almost in the Mississippi River. They always have one or two good, just like hammers, just come out of nowhere. And Joe Carr Jr. in his 96 and 97 finals, he wrestles both Caldwell County guys, different people, but still Caldwell County. So Caldwell County's a pretty good haul from Versailles. Did you guys wrestle Caldwell County, know much about them, or did you just like, whoa, where'd this guy come from?
Yeah, I was actually shocked. I can't remember if it was a St. X or Trinity kid, but he wrestled a Louisville kid the match before, which I was kind of expecting that I think it was St. X. I can't remember, but I was expecting
Trinity.
Trinity.
Sean Bohannon from Trinity.
Yep. I was expecting Sean to win that because in my mind, he'd be my next match, and that was not the case. So yeah, super strong kid, good wrestler. Obviously got a couple takedowns and was able to pull away.
And he goes on to get fourth place that year. So you guys, so far in the quarters, you've wrestled two wrestlers that placed. Ben, you get to the semis. You're wrestling Josh Hunt from Ryle. You win that by a 9-6 decision. So, man, Ryle's got a pretty good tradition. 2001, Ryle had their first state champion with Jordan Blackmore. Now Ryle, great tradition. Some of the names that come through there, your Kyle Rochelle's, your Cole Thomases, all those dudes. You remember much about that one?
Yeah, actually, that was probably one of my better wrestling matches that I'd wrestled that year. Just the score doesn't really, dictate how it went, but I pretty much kind of held my own through that. I kind of had to help out Eric there because I think he had an interesting match with him earlier that year that he might not want to talk about him. Grab him tissue if you ask him a question about it, though.
Uh-oh. Eric, man, let's hear it. What's the word?
No, I think that was my only loss that year. I think I was up. I mean, it was close to a tech fall. I was up 12, 13 points and got freaking whipped over to my back. And first time I've been pinned. And gosh,
what was that? What happened?
Oh man, I was counting the lights, brother.
Okay, here we go.
So that story never gets. So Dave Barnes was the coach of Ryle at that point, and Dave actually sold me my house a couple years ago. Still stay in contact with him, and every time I see him, oh hey Eric, remember that time Hunt whipped you over and put you on your back?
And we done Barnes's 88 video there in his realty office, so I'm sure as soon as he watches this, he'll message me or you, one of us. Hey, remember that time at Ryle? You know what I mean? I taught him that probably, right? So Eric, man, you get to the semis and you're wrestling friend of the channel, current official TJ Elmore from LaRue County. Now I'm sure. I don't want to say I'm sure, but I would have to imagine you guys wrestled because LaRue County, I believe in 01, they won the state duels. Is that correct?
I know we didn't, so it must have been them.
I think that they won the state duels that year because St. X won the team title, and I'm pretty confident that LaRue won the state duels that year. So, but I guess what I'm asking, had you wrestled TJ before?
We did wrestle over that year. I don't remember what the score was. It was closer than obviously that match, but I think I beat him by 3 or 4 takedowns the first time we went at it.
And TJ, I hate to do this to you. You said it in your TJ and myself at the girls' state tournament. We were actually roommates. KHSAA put us together as roommates. So he was talking about your review video, and he even your 02 review video, Eric, and he mentioned it in his official's perspective that I've never had my butt kicked worse than what Eric Slugantz done in the 01 finals. So TJ, man, I'm sorry. Eric gets you with a fall, 2 minutes and 13 seconds. So you guys meet in the finals. Now, of course, we're not going to tell you the score. We've got the match. We have the medal or the Parade of Champions, face off, and match video. Now, you guys can bounce off each other, go one at a time. It's however you guys want to do it. But when you guys win that semifinals, knowing I'm in, I can be a state champion. I've wrestled somebody. I've wrestled twice before. He's got 2 wins on me. I've got 2 losses on him. I can avenge it. I can make it all go away. Or just walk us through that, because that thought process of, did we go back to the hotel? Did we go eat? Eric, Frankfurt's not too far from Versailles. Did you go back to your house? Walk us through that.
Well, I had plenty of time to watch Ben's match because obviously I pinned my guy and he had to go the full 6 minutes. But, I was watching his match and he won. I was like, damn, 3rd time, here we go. And, it's hard to wrestle someone a 3rd time in a year, especially someone as good as Ben was. So it's, little nerves kick in, a little bit of, hey, you've done this, kind of game planning in your mind, very visual, and try to, mind how the match is going to go, what I'm going to do. So kind of stayed around the arena, if you will, didn't go back. So, and then a couple hours later, we had the match.
Yeah, it was, honestly, I didn't really feel a lot of pressure because it was one of those like, all right, like, I mean, he's beat me twice, let's just go out there and, let's throw everything you got. You don't have anything. There's nothing to lose here. You got a senior year. So, I mean, like, if you come up short, you come back next year and go after it again. So it's just one of those, I'm fortunate enough because we were, they had that little back area to warm up with. So, I had the pleasantry of having Neil Crawford give me all kinds of crap all day because he's just gigging me over. Oh, you got to face him later. You're screwed. You might as well just give up and go home. And so it was fun having two people that are very similar talking trash, talking to me. And so it was just like, all right, well, I mean, I really don't have anything to lose. Let's just go out here and see what happens.
And of course, Neil Crawford, 135 pounds. He's on that video's on the channel. We actually went to Neil's house there in Louisville and did his review video. And before we move on, Ben, of course, your dad's a state champion for Fern Creek. Little bit different. I mean, wrestling is wrestling is wrestling. They were in a high school gym when your dad won, but does he kind of give you any secret advice he'd been setting on about wrestling in the state finals or anything like that you can share?
No, it was one of those. I mean, you made it to the finals. Just go wrestle your match. I mean, it wasn't any. There's no like secret code or anything like that. It's just, I mean, he was going to be my assistant coach. There's no last minute extra session. It's just go wrestle.
I got you. No, that's a good. Sometimes, man, doing this, officiating for 19 years, whether it's a dad that's raising the youngster, grandparents, whoever, big brother, whoever it is, mom, grandma, whatever. Some know their kids well enough to stay out of their way because they just collapse under, mom and dad or whoever it may be trying to make them feel good. Or they, I don't want to do this anymore. Or they don't want to be out there. And some know when to motivate them. So if I could give the guardians, the parents, just a little advice, just learn your kid. Learn when you can talk to them and learn just when to give them their space because sometimes that's what they need. Sometimes they need to be motivated. Sometimes they don't. And Eric, man, you've got Tyler Baldwin in the finals with you that year at 112. I'm looking through here in the state finals. I can't remember who all else that Woodford had in the finals that year. It was a great year of wrestling all the way around. I'm looking here. I'm making sure I don't miss anybody because I hate to miss people. Or I'm sorry, Neil, your teammate was 130, not 135. Yeah, 130. That's my fault. I want to make sure that I'm. You had Isaac in that year. Sheldon Clark had 3 wrestlers in the finals. Our buddy Todd Allen from LaRue County. Slugantz, of course, you guys. I'm looking. Josh Muncie. And then our buddy Mike Ramsey, heavyweight. I think one of the best state finals matches in history. Mike Ramsey and Marlon Deal from Campbell County and North Hardin, respectively. Those two guys were absolute hammers. So, Ben, you sent me this video when I first started the series, the channel, like sometime in the early part of 22. I got my converter. You said, hey, can you convert this for me? I did. And this video's got the Parade of Champions, the introduction, the face-off, and the match video. Eric, I think you said you've never seen it. Is that right?
Ben maybe sent it to me. I can't. I don't recall seeing it now.
Okay. So is there, before we watch it, because I love getting the true genuine reaction. Is there like a certain part that you're like you have it played out and you're wanting to see like what the video evidence shows, Your Honor?
Well, I was telling Ben before we come on here, I remember, and I want to see the video of it, but I remember he kind of had a slide by on me, and in my mind, I remember like, wow, he should have took me down. Like that should have been he had me there, and so I'm kind of curious to see the video, see how close it was.
I got
you. You almost ran out of bounds. I mean, wasn't anything I could do about it.
Oh, so Ben, who is filming this? That way we kind of have it. That way we can get the historical accuracy.
I know it's apparent from the team. I'll be honest with you, I can't remember. And there's like I would venture to say there's multiple people that take over and are filming. But as far as my match, as far as our match, I have no idea.
Okay, no, that's cool. That's
one
cool,
of our
man.
moms, the camera would have been shaking the whole time. So
yeah, it definitely wasn't our moms.
Yeah, no, I understand that, man. All right, so we're going to pull up the match video here. One of the things I love about wrestling, the state tournament and tournaments in general, but the Parade of Champions gives everybody their just due. You know, it's a big accomplishment, especially back then, to make it to the state tournament. You get, you know, that extra day out of school. You get that Friday off. You know, everybody's looking around where you at. Hey, I'm wrestling. And you get that the great photos that we've got over the years, the great shots of all the weight classes. And, you know, I beat that guy, or, you know, no way that guy should have beat me or whatever. But that and the face-off, given the state tournament, the feel under the lights, the music, the jock jams, all that kind of stuff, the glow sticks, you knew if you were in that building or even anywhere in the Frankfort vicinity, you knew that this mattered. There's something on the line here. You know, these people are here, they're loud, they've got these beach balls, they got footballs, toilet paper rolls, glow sticks, all this kind of whatever wasn't nailed down was being threw around probably there. And it was just such a great atmosphere. I wish we could get back to it. Of course, this building no longer exists. But I think we've talked enough about it, guys. Let's go.
It's funny, the kid that walked up from Woodford County that was there first, Justin Jones, he kind of really helped me my sophomore year. Me and that kid went to 7, 8 different camps. So him and I wrestled quite a bit. He's 160 pounder. I think he placed that year. Was a good wrestler. And
you were the first 171 pounder to come out. Now, Ben, was that you right there that walked past, or which one is?
I'm right there in the gray shirt.
Okay, I got you.
So we're back in the back, and me and Ben are standing by each other, and I'm making fun of him, like, dude, you even gonna come out of the mat? Why don't you just stay back? And I mean, I'm just riding the entire time.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop.
Well, I mean, I think Neil was there, Tyler was there, everybody's there for time.
There was a group of us for sure. Yeah, that was definitely a cool place to do this.
I don't think they like me.
Nobody likes you. What are you talking about?
I was going to say, man, I think that Woodford County tag. All right, so here we go, fellas, from neutral. You guys had wrestled twice before. Was there something you guys were looking for that you know you could hit, or something to stay away from on each other, or how did it go?
I didn't want him to get a 2-on-1. I didn't want him to get a Russian tie. So I tried to let him collar tie me, and then I went over to try to get a
slice. Yeah, you had me too.
Yeah, I had it. I just couldn't get you to the ground quick enough. Now, I thought we moved good. Like, say, I feel like we were both pretty equally strength-wise, speed-wise.
I mean, I don't know about that. Man, you shot a lot more than I remember.
Yeah. When I watched it, I was like, where am I stalling at? Like, what did you say?
Little half shot.
I wasn't good at circling at that point in my career.
Got the crowd cheering, let's go, Ben.
That's another thing. Like, I feel like they called out real quick, too.
I think the rules back then, right? If any part of your body went out, you're out. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot different than what it is now. A lot different.
So get that 2-on-1.
Yeah. Got it right here. This is where you almost get that takedown. It's I'm happy. Yeah.
Ooh. Oh.
I was out.
Oh, I
was close.
I don't know. Now there's a poor video glitch, but I don't think there was much to it. I don't know, man. I think I'd give 2 right there.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a takedown when I watched it multiple times.
Kind of surprised Coach Carr Parks didn't go to the table on that one.
There wasn't any review back then.
Just to have my voice heard, you know what I mean?
Oh.
Just to let you know, hey, I don't appreciate that was a bad call, Mr. Official.
Look at him walking back, taking his time, out of breath.
I'm already tired, man. No,
I pinned my guy in the semi, so I was so fresh.
Yeah, you had a lot of time off. Eric had real good control of the center of the mat, man. That's one thing I never could get him out and have my back to the center.
Okay, so Eric, man, you deferred right there. That was kind of automatic. Was that something that you guys just knew from Carr and Parks, or did they tell you before you go out, hey, if you win, defer? Or
I think I just always did it. I mean,
okay.
I don't know.
Now, right there we get a reversal.
That's the only points scored in the entire match.
So pretty quick into the second
period,
period, man. You get reversed on.
This is where it skips past.
Yeah, there was sorry about that, fans. There was a little glitch in the tape.
I can't
now,
remember.
Is the score still 2? Is it 2-1 now?
Yeah, it would be 2-1 because, and I think we go out of the second period tied up 2-2. Because I got a stalling point at that point. I can't remember. I'm
counting shots. I think it's about 7-2 right now.
You got that tallied up over?
Obviously, I need to learn how to finish.
85-3 on shot count. I'm gonna put a chart up here. Everybody can see.
All right, man. I don't need 2 people ganging up on me.
No,
I should have scored there. Get around.
You're not getting past that.
No, that was a good out of bounds call. I'll give the ref that one. That's a good out of bounds call.
Man, taking his time. Look at him. Can't get up.
The video is in slow-mo.
Yeah.
Nice fake, Ben. Ooh. Man. Good little motion there.
Now, are you men about the same height? Am I remembering that correctly?
I think I'm a half-inch taller, but whatever.
Oh.
Depends on how much product you have in your hair.
Oh, I love it.
Ben, I think you are a little taller than me, aren't you?
I'm 5. I don't know if I've shrunk, but I was 5'11".
Okay, I think you had about an inch on me.
Oh, well, I guess the reason why I'm getting at is you guys have, tried a few things, some heavy hands there, some snaps, but it's just like, it's like wrestling a mirror,
Well, like I say, the biggest thing, Eric just controlled the center of the mat real well, and then once we got to where we were,
you had me again on that damn slide by.
I got pretty good at that. That was my go-to move. Like I was real good at that. It helped.
I think my problem was I knew I could get a stalling call. I was pushing out of bounds, and then I was putting too much pressure.
So Eric, man, you take down as soon as the buzzer sounds. Any secret, move that you guys been working on, or do you just expect to cut, or how did it go?
No, stand up. I did anything other than just stand up.
Mm.
Well, I mean,
then why'd you?
I wasn't going to ride him for 2 minutes, and I needed to score. So
I got you.
My best bet was to get on our feet and let's try to find an opening here.
So it's 3-2 right now, Ben.
I believe it's 3-2, or it might even be 4-2 at that point. I got two stalling penalty points. That was the difference in.
Nice shot. Ooh.
Once they finished that. Oh man.
I'm glad the camera didn't pan over because I'm pretty sure he threw a pretty nice little headlock right there.
That's like 3 times that looking back, you probably should have had me. That's
like I say, when I watched the match, I'm not mad about the way I wrestled. I thought it was a good match. I mean, it was what it was. I wish we'd have been able to go into overtime but I mean, it is what it is. Like I say.
He's warning you, don't back out again, Ben.
Yeah.
So we're deep in the third period. I'm going to have to imagine you guys are cognizant of the score and the time left. Are we just trying for anything, or are we going to try to still be strategic, or what are we doing here with this short time left?
I'll be honest with you. I didn't know what the time was.
Okay.
I mean, like, it was just one of those things. I don't know. I was so just tunnel visioned on the match of trying to figure out, can I hit a drag at some point? Can I get one of these slide bys? Can I hit an outside single?
Yeah.
Right there, switching off to a single. But I mean, I didn't finish quick enough, so we had to stand back up. And I mean, I didn't know how much time was left until I think it was already too late. Is when I figured out that I think I had like 10 or 11 seconds left.
You look like, where's the call?
Hey, Alex, I apologize. My kids are banging on the door. They just got dropped off. I'm going to go open the door for them. I'll be right back.
Right.
Okay. So, Ben?
Yeah.
When you're here, you're going.
Now the time's running out.
I got you.
I know that I think I heard somebody say short time. And so
Okay.
now I know I've got to go. But I mean, like, it's too much in my head, not knowing. I don't know.
No, right at the very end, got hit with a stall. Stall warning.
My first step backwards entire match. Get hit with a stall.
Yeah. And that's where the video ends. The final score ended up being 4-2. Guys, it was a great match. I mean, it really, really was. I know people are going to watch this and say the out of bounds the out of bounds rules have changed so much since this match happened that it's unbelievable. And so that's just part of wrestling. There's rule changes. But as far as the match goes, I mean, you guys, you could tell you knew each other, you knew what each other was good at, and you knew that if I zig when I should zag, it's over. You know what I'm saying? I hate to use that analogy, but it's true because wrestling somebody twice earlier, getting that data, that information, you know what you can hit on them, you know what they can hit on you, and you'd better not mess up for a split second or it's over.
I felt like, Eric, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I felt like one takedown was going to win that match. And so, like, it was one of those, I was always cognizant, all right, don't give up a takedown, but if you can get one takedown, like, that's going to be the deciding factor. Because, like, say, wrestling somebody 3 times, whether we admit it or not, the state finals match, that gravity of, like, don't screw up. Like, this is for all the marbles here. But like I say, when I went back and watched it a couple of years later, I thought it was a good match. Like, I thought it was what it was. I'm not bitter about it at all.
Yeah.
I was telling Ben, every time I have a bad day, I just watch this video and I feel good.
Oh yeah.
No, I think if you looking back, it's funny. I didn't remember it kind of going that way, so it's fun to watch that. But it was Ben kept me out of my 2-on-1, which I used quite a bit that year. He kept me, I scored a lot of points from a front headlock, and I think there was 2 or 3 times there that I couldn't get around him. I didn't get around him. So obviously he learned what I was trying to do and kind of blocked me. So, and then, I mean, hell, he had that double leg, then 2 slide bys that probably should have scored on. So it was definitely close. I think, when you look at it, neither one of us really on our shots or fully committed. It's kind of like a half shot, 3/4 shot. Okay, I'm going to get back out instead of, doing what we probably should have done, which was commit the shots and take a risk. And, watching that, I don't think either one of us really fully took a risk or went out.
Oh, that's right.
And on that switch there, in the second period, Eric, you defer, Ben, you take down, you hit that switch. Like I said, that's really the only, I guess, offensive points that are scored throughout the whole match. outside of a few cuts and stalls, whatever. But let's talk about that because I mean that's a great point in the match of both of you can say, "Oh my gosh, I could lose this thing. Oh my gosh, I can win this thing." Is that what kind of talk us through that?
Well, it was actually a great scramble. Eric, he normally just rode a really good tight waist or did the Navy ride, but and somebody went for my ankle. My reaction was always to just all right, sit down and go for that switch. And so I mean, like when that happened, his weight was a little bit too far, and I got it pretty cleanly. But I mean, he snapped right back into it and tried to go out. Unfortunately, we were in the out of bounds line, or he probably would have got it back. But I don't think that a switch really gets you, especially at the very beginning of the period, because all it is like, all right, I'm on top now. And, Eric was good enough that you're not going to ride the guy for 2 minutes. Like, I don't care who's his opponent is. I mean, even if I get that and a cut, then I'm still up 2-1 as opposed to 1-0 at that point. So I don't really feel like that reverse was going to determine the match by any means.
I can tell you this. That was the first time that year that I can recall, and I remember thinking the finals. Damn, I got the first time I've been down. Right, I'd gotten beat early in the year, but I was up 12, 13 points when that happened. I mean, it was the first time in a match in such a big stage like that. I'm like, oh crap, I'm losing right now, and kind of a little bit of a panic to a certain degree. And then as you said, hey, get up. It's same thing if escape or whatever. But it's still, I remember having a little bit of panic, like. In my mind, I've been teasing him all day and kind of giving him all the time. This guy's up on me right now. So it was a little bit of panic, but obviously able to bounce back.
And you used the word scramble earlier, and I've said this in numerous videos. We done Chad Dalton, 2000 state champion from Simon Kenton. We done his video, and then Derek Mullet, 145-pound state champion from Sheldon Clark. He passed away a couple years ago. Of course, those two met in the finals. And I've said in numerous videos and in person at wrestling meets, wherever, that the first match that you can actually see both wrestlers scramble throughout the whole match is that one. You can see Kentucky wrestling getting better throughout all the videos that I have, 97, 98, 99, 2000. But that 2001 145-pound, I've said that's a timestamp for scrambling, because now if you can't scramble, you can't wrestle. That's just the facts. And the your all's year 2001, from top to bottom, starting off with Doug Upchurch at 103, all the way to Mike Ramsey at heavyweight. Great year of finals. Isaac in there, Derek and Chad. But that scramble, I'm glad you used that word scramble, because you can really see from that point forward, you can really see a different type of wrestling in the state. Not just to a few teams, but we've got 02, 03, 04, 05, 06, all these years. But you can see wrestling getting better collectively at every weight from like 2001 forward. And I don't know what it was about that 01 year, but it just seems like that's like, especially that 145 match, just that is when you can see wrestling has really evolved in the state.
Yeah, I thought the finals matches that year were great. I mean, Tyler was an incredible scrambler. Neil was a great scrambler. I mean, Neil's finals match against Cooper, those you're talking about two just phenomenal scramblers. Which was shown in, I think, what is it? Probably one of the best high school state finals matches ever with Cooper and Metzger.
That was 03. Yep, that's right.
I mean, there's definitely, when you go back and look at the 80s and 90s and look into the 2000s and even today, like the sport itself has evolved tremendously.
And our buddy Josh Muncie, 189's on the channel. Great match there. I mean, like I said, just all up and down. I hate to leave anybody out. Jason Davio from Scott, rest in peace to Davio. Brad Cooper, Simon Kent was on there, and just a great year, man. Just a great transition year. It really, really was. Now, of course, both of your 02 videos are on the channel. Go back, like I said earlier in the video, watch those because they're great. We done Ben's, I believe, in your living room, correct?
That's right.
And then Eric, we done yours in the Matt room. Connor was, I don't remember if I reached out or one of the Connor people reached out to you or whatever.
I think it was Todd Cole reached out to me.
Okay, yep. Rest in peace to Todd. He passed away on the state champion 1981. So glad we was able to, I wanted to get you guys on together at the same time, whether it's in person or Zoom, but I'm now with thank God for Zoom. And the O2 videos, they're great companion pieces, but man, this is the one everybody wanted to see. You know what I mean? This is the draw here. Now, after school, after high school, we all go our separate ways. It wasn't so easy when we were in school. We had ICQ, MSN Messenger, all these. You could kind of keep up with some people, email addresses, text messaging had just kind of began to be, you had to wait after 9 p.m. to send text and all that kind of stuff. You guys stayed friends from then all the way through now. And you have a very special connection outside of the sport. So tell us how did that connection go from wrestling in the state finals to being in a wedding occur for each other?
Well, I think we're very similar in the sense that we like to tease and pick on each other, and that's as most guys do. But for me, it was a lot. So when I went off to college and was wrestling, I'd come back home. Ben was my wrestling partner. I'd call him up and say, "Hey, man, can we go? Hit the mats?" And he would go in there. And obviously, I would continue wrestling and with a little better shape. And but he would come in and go at it for an hour and a half at a time. And we did that several times where he'd come kind of be my partner as he was going to UK. And good times for sure.
Yeah, it was. It was interesting. Like when you think about two guys that pretty much, you kind of had a feeling like if you didn't stumble, you were going to meet this guy in the finals. And then I walk up to weigh-in state mornings, and he's in front of me. And we just start kind of chatting, and it was just like, I kind of wanted this guy to be a dick, so I could hate him more. But it's just a nice. He is, but he's a pretty good dude, and we got to be good friends. And then the senior year, it was interesting because Woodford County wouldn't allow anybody on their mats once they got to a tournament, but I'd always come over and mess with them. So Seneca would be on Woodford's mat, and I got to know all of the Woodford wrestlers. And so when I went to UK and Eric went up to IU, we were able to stay in touch because I ran into Good at UK, and so we started hanging out a bunch. And when Eric would come in town, we'd spend time together and go out and have a good time, and just kind of continued on. And we've always kind of stayed in touch. Probably not as much as we'd like to, but that's life. It's been great. It's awesome. Yeah, I've never had Eric in my life, I'd be 93-0 with 2 state titles. It's great. I love your friendship.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. 2 years of wrestling, man. 90-3, 3 losses to the same daggone person, right?
Yeah, it's all right. It was a great time in my life. I knew I wasn't gonna make it in the Olympics, so I had a great time doing it when I did. And like I say, senior year was always there, and I was able to get it done my senior year.
That'd be great memories with your dad too.
Yeah, it was. Oh, yeah, I would never. Yeah, it was great.
Oh yeah, I can only imagine. Now, Eric, how does the phone conversation, the in-person, the text exchange go when it's like, I'm going to get married. Who should I put in my wedding? Let's put the guy that I beat 3 times in the same year and bumped up weight classes to get away from me in my wedding. Is that how it went, or how did it go? Or
when you're in your wedding, you want to feel good about yourself. So I look at Ben, man, I beat that guy 3 times. Kind of feel good. Come on, man, get my wedding.
Funny enough, after they were surprisingly were like, would anybody like to say something? And I was like, absolutely, please give me that. And so of course it was like, how did you meet Eric? So I basically started out. He goes, well, first time I ever met Eric, I was like, well, I'm gonna try to whip this guy's ass. I don't like him. And so we then, of course, went into then we wrestled for 6 minutes, and that's how we got to meet each other. But yeah, it's been a blast.
And what year, just so we can kind of get a frame of reference, was the wedding and all that? Because we got photos here we're going to insert.
Oh God.
These are terrible. So it's like, 2008,
7, 8, somewhere around there.
8, yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And dude, I don't know what the hell we were doing with these pants, but God, they're bad.
Hey, yeah. I didn't provide photo evidence. You did, all right.
I was gonna say Eric provided all the photo evidence, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. But man, it's such a cool story that you guys wrestled in the state finals, stayed friends, was in each other's. I think that was the first. I could be wrong, but I think that may have been the first. Like when we tried to set this up in the text group, that was the first thing that was mentioned is you were in his wedding, and I was like, well, that's got to be a rarity of wrestling each other all these years later, then being in the wedding and still staying friends all these 24 years later now. It's hard to believe it's been that long,
Yeah.
but it has. So men, I think we've reached a good point to if anything that we haven't covered or anything you'd like to say, or maybe want to run it back in 2031, I could probably make that happen.
They still have the Bluegrass Games, Ben?
If you want to, I'll do it. Of course, what's your weight class nowadays? Mine's 215. So
I don't think I want to see myself in a singlet these days.
no, neither do I. All right. I don't think my fiance would take kindly to that getting out on the internet.
Yeah. So, like I said, though, anything you guys want to say, add, take away, anything else we may not have covered, feel free. The floor is yours.
No, man, just good memories, Ben. Good seeing you, buddy. It was fun to watch. Appreciate you jumping on.
No, it was blast. Good catching up with you, buddy.
Well, guys, I think we've reached a good ending point to the Slugantz Vessel saga. I think I'm glad you guys were able to do it together. Really appreciate you taking the time and doing this. I know the Woodford County crowd and the Seneca crowd is going to enjoy it, and everybody that remembers you from back in your all's era. I know TJ Elmore is not going to want to watch it. TJ, much love to you. But I believe we've reached the ending point of the video. Thank you all for watching. We will see you guys and girls on the mats or at a wedding.
Thanks, Alec.